I never thought the woman I married, the woman I sacrificed so much for, would one day use my deepest vulnerability as a weapon against me. It happened at what was supposed to be a simple family gathering. Her parents, my parents, a few cousins, some old friends. The kind of event where laughter usually fills the room, where you're supposed to feel safe. But instead, I felt something else that night. We were all sitting around the dining table when she decided to tell a story. My wife, the person who should have been protecting me. Her voice got louder as she leaned back in her chair, smirking, glass of wine in hand. She said, "You all wouldn't believe the kind of boring, predictable husband I ended up with. Let's just say the bedroom is like watching paint dry." The table erupted in awkward laughter. Some chuckled nervously. Others looked down at their plates. And then she added the sentence that stabbed me right through the chest. "At least my ex knew how to keep things exciting. Unlike him." She pointed at me. Everyone turned. My face burned. My stomach twisted. I wanted to disappear. But I stayed quiet for now. Because she had no idea. I knew something about her that would silence her forever. To understand why her words cut so deep, you need to know how we started. We met in college. She was beautiful, confident, the kind of girl who walked into a room and made everyone turn their head. Me. I was quieter, more reserved. But I had ambition. I wanted to build a stable life, a future that meant something. She liked that about me, or so I thought. She said I made her feel safe. She said I was the first man who treated her like more than just a pretty face. And for years, I believed we had something real. I worked long hours to support us, put money aside for a house, made sure she never had to worry. I skipped nights out with friends so I could save. Every time I looked at her, I thought, this is worth it. She's worth it. But slowly things changed. It started small. Little comments when we were alone. "You're too boring. Why don't you ever try something new?" I brushed them off, thinking she was just teasing. Then it became sharper. "No wonder your ex left you. You're lucky I even married you." I swallowed my pride and stayed silent. Because when you love someone, you convince yourself it's just a phase. You tell yourself they'll come back to the person you fell in love with. But she never did. Her confidence turned into arrogance. Her laughter turned into mockery. And instead of building me up, she chipped away at me piece by piece. The thing about humiliation is, it's never just one moment. It's a build-up, a slow drip of disrespect until you're drowning in it. I remember the first time she openly flirted with another man in front of me. We were at a bar with friends. She leaned across the counter, laughing a little too hard at the bartender's jokes, touching his arm. When I asked her about it later, she rolled her eyes. "Don't be so insecure. It's harmless. Maybe if you paid more attention, I wouldn't need to look elsewhere." Those words stuck in my chest like a knife. Family dinners became another stage for her cruelty. She'd make subtle digs about my income, my appearance, even the way I spoke. People would laugh, thinking she was being playful, but I knew the truth. Every joke was an attack. And the more I stayed silent, the bolder she became. At night, I'd lie awake staring at the ceiling, wondering what I'd done wrong. I wasn't perfect, but I was loyal. I was steady. Wasn't that enough? Apparently not. Because the more I tried to please her, flowers, surprises, long talks about her dreams, the more she pulled away. It was as if she thrived on watching me shrink. My friends noticed. One even pulled me aside and said, "Man, why do you let her talk to you like that?" I had no answer. Because deep down I was scared. Scared that if I pushed back, I'd lose her. But what I didn't realize was, I'd already lost her. Not to another man, but to her own ego. And the night she mocked me in front of everyone, that was the breaking point. The party was loud, laughter echoing through the room, glasses clinking. But when she opened her mouth, the air turned sharp. She said it casually, like it was just another story. But when she compared me to her ex, implying he was better in bed, the entire room froze. I could feel my father's eyes on me, full of pity. My mother shifted uncomfortably in her chair. Her parents looked amused, as if they'd always believed I wasn't good enough for their daughter. And then the laughter came. Not loud, not cruel, but enough. Enough to tell me that my dignity had just been shattered in front of the very people I loved. She leaned back, satisfied with herself. She thought she'd won. But she didn't know what I knew. Because for years, I'd kept quiet about something she never wanted anyone to find out. And if she wanted to humiliate me in public, then I would give her the same gift. Only this time, the laughter wouldn't be at me. It would be at her. I took a deep breath, stood up, and raised my glass. Funny, I said, my voice calm but steady, that you'd bring up your ex tonight. Because there's something about that story you forgot to tell everyone. Her smirk faltered. The room went quiet. I continued. You see, what she's not telling you is that the reason her ex broke up with her wasn't because he was so amazing in bed. It was because he couldn't handle her problem. Whispers rippled through the table. Her face flushed red. I pulled out my phone, scrolling until I found what I was looking for. A message from that very ex, sent to me years ago. He'd warned me, out of some twisted sense of honesty, that she had insecurities she hid behind her confidence. I read it aloud. She always tried to act superior, but truth is, she was the most insecure partner I ever had. Constantly comparing herself, terrified of being abandoned. She used to cry that no man would ever stay if he found out she wasn't as perfect as she pretended to be. Gasps filled the room. She shot up from her chair. Stop it. That's private. But I wasn't finished. For years, I kept your secret. I respected you enough not to expose your pain. But you? You chose to mock me, to humiliate me in front of everyone. So tonight, I'm done protecting you. The silence that followed was deafening. For the first time in years, she was the one shrinking. Her face was pale, her hands trembling. She tried to laugh it off, but no one was laughing anymore. My father looked at me with pride. My mother's eyes softened, finally seeing the strength I'd been hiding. Her parents? They couldn't even look me in the eye. I placed my glass down gently and said, respect in marriage is not optional. You don't get to destroy someone with jokes and call it love. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. I pushed back my chair, stood tall, and added, you wanted a show tonight? Congratulations. Everyone finally saw the truth. Not about me, but about you. And then I walked away. Marriage is supposed to be about love, respect, and loyalty. But humiliation? That kills intimacy faster than anything else. The truth is, arrogance will always collapse under its own weight. And when someone mocks the very person who stood by them, they're not exposing their partner's weakness, they're exposing their own. Self-respect isn't loud. It doesn't need to shout. It just needs to stand tall, even in silence. What would you have done if your partner humiliated you like this in front of everyone? Would you have stayed silent, or revealed the truth like I did? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. And don't forget to subscribe, because the next story will shock you even more.